Hey everyone, and welcome back to Story of Growth. I'm your host, Sarah, and today we're diving into something I know so many of you struggle with, and honestly, something I've wrestled with my entire adult life. Picture this. It's Sunday evening and your phone buzzes. Your colleague is asking if you can cover their shift tomorrow, again. Your mom is calling about family drama she needs you to fix. Your friend wants to vent for 2 hours about the same relationship issue you've discussed a dozen times. And meanwhile, you're sitting there, exhausted, thinking, I can't say no, but I also can't keep saying yes. Sound familiar? If you've ever felt like you're drowning in other people's needs while your own get pushed to the back burner, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about setting boundaries that actually strengthen relationships instead of destroying them. I'm joined by Dr. Maya Chen, a licensed therapist who specializes in helping people create healthier relationship dynamics. Maya, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. And can I just say that scenario you painted, I hear some version of it from almost every client I work with.
So let's start with the basics. Why are boundaries so essential, and why do so many of us struggle with them?
Great question. Think of boundaries like the property lines around your house. They're not there to keep people out. They're there to create a safe, sustainable space where authentic relationships can actually flourish. The problem is, most of us were never taught how to set them without feeling guilty or afraid of conflict. We live in a culture that often equates being good with being available, accommodating, and self-sacrificing. But here's the thing. When we don't have boundaries, we end up resentful, exhausted, and ironically, we show up as worse versions of ourselves in our relationships.
That resentment piece really hits home. Can you share a story, maybe from your own experience or a client, about what unhealthy boundaries look like versus healthy ones?
Absolutely. I had a client, let's call her Jessica, who came to me completely burned out. She was the family mediator, the friend everyone called in crisis, and the coworker who never said no to extra projects. She wore it like a badge of honor, you know? I'm the helper. I'm the strong one. But Jessica was having panic attacks. She'd gained weight because she had no time for self-care. Her marriage was suffering because she gave everyone else her best energy, and her husband got whatever was left, which wasn't much. The turning point came when her teenage daughter said, "Mom, you help everyone but us. When was the last time we just hung out without you being on the phone solving someone else's problems?"
Wow, that must have been a wake-up call.
It was devastating, but also liberating. Jessica realized that her lack of boundaries wasn't actually helping anyone long-term. She was enabling people instead of empowering them. And she was teaching her daughter that women should sacrifice themselves for others. So we worked on what I call loving limits. She started with small things, like not answering work emails after 7 p.m., letting family members work through some conflicts on their own before jumping in. The key was how she communicated these changes.
What did that look like practically?
Instead of just disappearing or getting angry, she had conversations. She'd say things like, I care about you and I want to support you in a way that's sustainable for both of us. I'm not available for work calls after 7 p.m., but I'm happy to discuss this first thing tomorrow morning. Or with family drama, I love you both, and I believe you're capable of working this out between yourselves. I'm here if you need emotional support, but I'm not going to be the messenger between you two anymore.
I love that language, loving limits. It doesn't sound harsh or rejecting.
Exactly. A boundary is not a wall, it's a bridge to healthier connection. When Jessica started setting these boundaries, something beautiful happened. Her relationships actually got stronger. People respected her more, not less. Her daughter started coming to her with real problems because she knew she'd get her mom's full, present attention instead of divided focus.
So what are some practical strategies for people who want to start setting boundaries but don't know where to begin?
I always start with what I call the 3 R's: recognize, respond, and redirect. First, recognize your warning signs. Maybe it's that pit in your stomach when your phone rings, or feeling resentful after saying yes to something. Your body is smarter than you think. It's usually telling you when a boundary is needed. Second, respond with clarity and kindness. Use I statements. I'm not available this weekend, instead of making up elaborate excuses. You don't need to justify your boundaries. Third, redirect with an alternative when appropriate. I can't cover your shift tomorrow, but I could help you find someone who might be available. Or I can't talk for 2 hours tonight, but let's schedule coffee this weekend when I can give you my full attention.
Those are so actionable. What about the emotional side? How do we deal with the guilt that often comes up?
The guilt is real and it's normal. I tell my clients that guilt is often unfamiliarity in disguise. You're not used to putting your needs on equal footing with others' wants. And yes, I said wants, not needs. Most of the time, people's demands on us are about convenience, not survival. Remember this, you're not responsible for other people's emotional reactions to your reasonable boundaries. You're responsible for communicating them with kindness and consistency.
Let's tackle some of the biggest fears people have about boundaries. The first one I hear all the time is, if I set boundaries, people will think I'm selfish.
This is such a common fear, and it's rooted in a fundamental misunderstanding. Selfishness is taking more than your fair share at others' expense. Setting boundaries is claiming your fair share so you can show up authentically in relationships. Think about it. What's actually selfish? Setting a boundary so you can be present and engaged, or saying yes to everything and then being resentful, exhausted, and emotionally unavailable?
What about boundaries will push people away?
Here's the truth bomb. Boundaries might push away people who are only in your life to take advantage of your lack of limits. But the people who truly love and respect you, they'll not only stay, they'll often thank you for being clear about your needs. Healthy people want to be in relationships with healthy people. When you model good boundaries, you give others permission to have them too. It's actually a gift to your relationships.
That's such a powerful reframe. Maya, as we wrap up, what's the one thing you want listeners to remember from our conversation today?
Remember that boundaries aren't about building walls, they're about creating space for authentic, sustainable relationships. Start small, be consistent, and trust that the people who belong in your life will respect the limits that help you be your best self. And here's your homework. Identify one area where you need a boundary this week. Practice saying no with kindness and notice how it feels to honor your own needs alongside others.
Beautiful. Maya, thank you so much for your wisdom today. Everyone listening, I want you to know that setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary. It's how we create relationships that nourish us instead of depleting us. If today's episode resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who might need to hear it. And remember, your growth matters, your well-being matters, you matter. Until next time, keep growing.